It was the only time that Tim Kaine and Mike Pence will share the debate stage, and things got heated. Our WENY political analyst, Dr. Jim Twombly, joins me now to break it all down. Jim, where do we start?
Well, it was a bit heated, probably more so than many people would have expected. And you could tell that Tim Kaine was not really comfortable in the first 15 or 20 minutes of the debate with his role as sort of the typical attack dog that a vice presidential candidate would take on. And that's really where I think Mike Pence set the tone, where people might have come away with the impression that he did better in the debate. But if we let the fact checkers and the political pundits do their thing in the next 24 hours, we may see a slightly different image of the debate.
And how much do these vice presidential debates impact elections, especially this one this year?
Well, the usual thought on this is that they don't do much at all. And most of the great highlighted moments of vice presidential debates, like with Lloyd Bentsen in '88, saying to Dan Quayle that, you're no Jack Kennedy. Dan Quayle won that election with George Bush the elder. So they don't usually have an impact. I think the impact of tonight's debate is really going to be seen in whether or not Donald Trump can restrain himself over the next several days.
Okay.
We saw last week's presidential debate where we didn't think there was much that was going to affect the race at all that night until we saw the shot about Elisa Machado. And then all through the next week, Donald Trump tweeting about it, and then a little bit of a meltdown on Saturday over it, and his numbers have dropped precipitously. If Trump can restrain himself, this might not impact him so terribly. But if he goes on, finds something in tonight that annoys him and he starts tweeting about it, we may see a shot to his numbers, a negative shot to his numbers.
And, going off of that, what are some of the takeaways tonight that you think people will be talking about?
Well, I think the interrupting on both sides, although Kaine did more of it initially, may have turned a lot of viewers off. So people may have turned this debate off in the first 15 to 20 minutes.
Okay.
I think that one of the things that I noticed a lot was Pence's head shaking. If you stuck with the debate, Pence was constantly shaking his head in response to things that Tim Kaine was saying. Things that Tim Kaine was saying that have been documented about what Donald Trump has said, trying to goad Pence into defending Trump. Pence never took that bait, but I think the visual of him constantly shaking his head may, in the end, turn out to be a negative view of Pence.
Okay. And now, where do you think things will go from here?
Well, I think from here, again, we have to see whether or not something got the ire of Donald Trump and he starts tweeting about it. It didn't seem that there was anything that would do that off the bat. And certainly a lot of us didn't expect that the Machado comment by Hillary Clinton at the end of the last debate was anything big that night until Trump made it that way.
Yeah.
So we have to wait and see. But I think the next thing we have to do is wait and see what happens with the next presidential debate on Sunday.
All right, Dr. Jim Twombly, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.